Hi, this is Bill Lombard, and this video is going to show teachers how to use writing in the math classroom to help kids learn and remember mathematics. One of the most important things for kids is to think about what they're doing. The pedagogical term for this is a big word called metacognition. But for laymen and most kids, all it is just thinking about your thinking. And the more we think about what we do, the better we understand it, and the more we're going to remember it. And teachers that have been teaching for a while realize that once kids finish a set of exercises, whether it's 10 or 20 problems out of a book, they're going to close the book, talk to their friends, and mathematics is the last thing on their mind. And what we're trying to show you in this video here is how to use a simple technique of easy writing so that the kids would reflect upon their learning at least one more time. And research has shown that this is just an extremely effective way to help kids remember their mathematics. And one of the simplest easy write prompts that I can think of is the one that's on the screen right now. What's the most important thing you'll learn today in math class? And you can always follow it up with a couple other questions, such as why is it important and how will it help you? Now, this particular set of questions can be used in any class of any level at any time of the year, and that's why it's so nice as kind of a fallback position. And this is good for kids because they have to reflect on what it was in the lesson that the teacher presented that's important to them. There's a couple ways that you can incorporate easy writing into your lesson planning, and the one that I use a lot is called Easy Writes Anytime. Very, very simple to do. I have a bunch of scratch paper in my classroom that I run through a paper cutter, and I make 4 pieces out of them, very small. And then when I feel like doing an easy write, if I sense that it's an appropriate time to have the kids reflect on what it is that we learned that day, I'll pass out these small pieces of paper and ask kids to put their name on it. And then I'll ask them a question which they need to copy down and then respond to. And it takes about 1 minute to 2 minutes, and that's the entire obligation on the student's part. So they're perceiving this to be very, very simple. From the administrative point of view, from my point of view, I can then, at some point between then and the end of the classroom, look at these easy writes, these small pieces of paper, and separate them into 2 groups. The group of kids that pretty much know what's going on, and then a much smaller group that is possibly misinterpreting or just missing the point of the lesson. I can take this handful of pieces of paper and paperclip them to a lesson plan or paperclip them to the seating chart and talk to these kids the following day while the rest of the class is doing a warm-up. A second way to do easy writes is on a weekly basis, and this involves some binder paper, and you can have the kids put the day and the date in the margin of the binder paper. In other words, this might be Monday, January 19th, and then they copy down the question and answer it. And it's important to have them copy it down because with just an answer, sometimes the kids are not going to remember what it was that they were asked to do. And in this particular scenario, I collect the easy writes once a week. And this is nice because you can take first period and collect them on Monday, for instance, second period and collect them on Tuesday, and so forth. So you don't have a whole lot of papers to grade at any particular time. And you can get through this set of papers in just a very few minutes. A thing that's also nice about this particular method is I ask the kids to choose their best writing for the week, and they put a little star by it or a mark or a happy face so they can think one more time about what it is that they learned for that week. And I'll take a look at that journal write, that easy write, the very first thing when I pick them up, pay more attention to that. And then I'll look at the rest of them just to make sure that they're putting out some good effort. Now, an additional benefit of doing it this way is if a child is absent, he or she can ask a neighbor what the journal write was, or if the child is at home, he or she can always call up a neighbor and find out what the journal right was and respond right there. So it's really kind of a nice way to go. And if you're looking for more writing resources, we've authored a book called The Language of Math. My co-author Brad Fulton and myself, you can find that at tttpress.com, and along with a bunch more teacher resources. And just in summary here, this would be what your weekly Easy Write paper would look like on binder paper, question and answer. And again, the big word is metacognition, just thinking about your thinking, and it's the best way to reinforce and remember material. And this is Bill Lombard giving you another teaching tip, and I wish you good success in the math class.